Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another day of the daily sketching episodes. Today I would like to use a new sketchbook, but I still haven't figured out a good size. I actually want something smaller than what I have right now. I've already have some things in there. You know, I don't want to waste too much money buying another sketchbook. I'll move on to a new sketchbook once I finish using them, okay? So, without further ado, let's get started to today's drawing. I have a feeling my sketchbook is slightly smaller than what we had before, but I think that actually might work for me. Today's drawing is a sketch of a pavilion I saw on Arch Daily, or Arc Daily, whichever one is pronounced properly. This is called the Raw Materials Pavilion. I was just so happy looking at this building because of how, indeed, raw it was. Now, what do you mean by raw in architecture? Now, when I looked at this pavilion the first time, I didn't really know what it meant either. But as soon as I saw the picture, I realized what that meant. Now, rawness in architecture is basically the structure of architecture. And not only that, the type of materials you use, and also how well integrated you are with the surrounding, in this case, the nature. So, what I'm drawing right now here is the concrete structure of the Raw Materials Pavilion. Right here is the pillars of the pavilion. Usually architectures have roofs going on into things. However, this one barely had any. So from the center of here, I think some of these go here. And we have a beam going through. You can see the bottom of the beam here. And we had a huge block of concrete acting as a roof. Quite literally just putting the concrete on the beams to act as a roof. This is some of the pathways here. It creates a nice shape along the lines of the structure and the ground. And on the further end of the side, you can sort of see the other structures and the columns in the background. This building had a really good sense of depth and vastness into it, or maybe the photographer of this architecture was really good at showing that. But I really, really want to visit this building, as it was very vast and open. I think you can already tell from the sketch that you have a huge open space going on here. Only the shape or the silhouette of the architecture is the one to determine the boundaries of these buildings. Now, boundaries is another thing that is quite raw in architecture. I believe that as an architect, you are supposed to design boundaries. If you are designing luxurious architecture, you are supposed to design the gap between the VIP people, you know, the rich people, and the normal people, or I guess people who can't afford luxurious buildings. So that's what's going on here. Now, they aren't hard boundaries, right? There aren't actually walls that creates this prison-like boundaries. But what this is able to do is to create open boundaries, semi-boundaries. What I usually like to call it is a permeable boundary, where you can tell there is a boundary, but there's nothing physical stopping you from going in or out of this area. This is exactly why I think they did really well in naming their pavilion the Raw Materials Pavilion. The word raw here, I believe it's supposed to be fundamental of the architecture, the fundamentals of architecture. Just creating boundaries using raw materials and creating spaces. Why don't we do something a little bit different today and accentuate the strength of the building with using something thicker. Now I want to accentuate this shape over here. Strong shape. And this horizontal line going through here, that's a strong shape. Right. The columns are actually soft, and then the block on top, very powerful. Just like that. And another beam going across. This is also a very strong shape. Ooh. Okay, there it is. Okay, good. Okay, let's get coloring. Gradation in the sky, which allows me to feel the atmosphere. And if I can feel the atmosphere, the colors just come in quite naturally. Or at least that's what I think. Ooh, I never really noticed about the shadows in this buildings, but geez, that is something, isn't it? I'll go ahead and draw the shadows as we go. This is where the lights are hitting. I'm going to color in it orange where the lights are hitting. It's actually not orange, it's a concrete. But I just want to show you where the lights are hitting. And then the shadows goes across like that. Confident lines, guys, confident lines. This will do it. Right, there it is. I think I want to color in the background more with the shadows going on. Strong shapes. Bold and strong. Bold and strong. Good. Add a gradation to it to show the soft light and the shadow side of the pillar. Great. Okay. Wow. This drawing is turning out quite the abstract one today. Did not expect this outcome. This is why you should have fun sketching and experiment as you go. Let me actually try and color in the shadow here more, just to show you that it's actually darker in the background, which creates a nice depth effect into the building. But of course, without really losing details, I'm going to add in a little bit more detail by layering my colors. Alright, let's get in more shadow going on here. This is why I like alcohol-based brushes, because they allow you to, you're allowed to add more into the drawing without really coloring in the same value and tone. Okay, actually this side is a little bit in the shadow, because it's the side of the pillar. Maybe you got to get the bottom side colored in like that. Okay, so there it is. This is today's drawing. So this is my sketch of the Raw Materials Pavilion by Oficina Transversal. This building is built in Chihuahua. I think that's how you pronounce it. In Mexico. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll catch you next time.